Okay, go down on your knees. Go down on your knees.
Imagine getting a phone call from your neighbor late at night. And before they even finish speaking, you already know something terrible happened. Not because you heard the gunshots, but because deep down, a part of you had been afraid this day was coming for a long time. That's what happened on June 18, 2024, in Washington City, Utah. And what really gets me about this case is that almost nobody involved seemed completely shocked by the ending. That alone should tell you everything. Joseph and Gail Bailey had lived in the same neighborhood for years. Joseph was 70. Gail was 69. Quiet people. The kind of neighbors you wave to when pulling out of the driveway in the morning. They had children. One of them was Mia Troy Bailey, 28 years old. Now, I want to be careful here, because this story is layered in a way that most true crime cases aren't. Mia was transgender. She had also been struggling with severe mental illness for years, including schizophrenia. And according to people close to the family, things at home had been increasingly unstable long before any of this happened. In 2023, police were called to the Bailey home after Mia allegedly pointed a gun at her brother Corey. The firearm was confiscated. Mia was hospitalized for psychiatric treatment. And honestly, when I read that part, it feels like the moment where everyone probably exhaled a little. Like, okay, maybe now things get better. But sometimes people survive a crisis without actually getting better. And that fear inside a family, that quiet, exhausting dread, it just becomes part of everyday life. Until one day it isn't quiet anymore. June 18, 2024. Evening. Mia had been waiting months for a gender reassignment surgery. And I want you to understand, this wasn't casual for her. By her own words, this surgery was her last hope. The one thing she believed would finally give her some peace. And then it was canceled. Mia believed her mother made that call to the hospital. Raised concerns about Mia's mental health. And whether that decision was right or wrong, it shattered something in Mia completely. I keep thinking about that phone call. One mother genuinely worried about her child. Probably thinking she was doing the right thing. Having no idea what she had just set in motion. That same evening, Mia drove to her parents' house. Corey and his wife were downstairs watching TV. Then they heard arguing upstairs. Loud arguing. Then gunshots. Then their mother screaming. And then, nothing. Corey locked the bedroom door. Grabbed his wife. Climbed out the window. While they were escaping, Mia was outside that door, trying to force her way in. It's hard to even picture how terrifying those few seconds must have been. When officers entered the home, they found Gail on the living room floor, Joseph in the hallway. Neither survived, and Mia was already gone. What followed was a massive overnight manhunt. Police, deputies, U.S. Marshals, drones, helicopters, K-9 units, all searching Washington City through the night for a 28-year-old woman who had just killed both of her parents. At one point, an officer actually spotted Mia walking along a street before she vanished into the darkness again. A witness nearby said they saw a gun tucked into her waistband before she ran. By morning, they found her, hiding in a patch of dry tumbleweed. Completely surrounded, gun pressed to her own head. What followed was nearly an hour of crisis negotiation. The negotiator's name was Tyler. And what stands out to me is that he didn't approach her like a monster. He talked to her calmly, asked about her life, asked about the surgery, tried to keep her connected to something real long enough to survive that moment. Eventually, Mia threw the gun aside and surrendered. And then, in the middle of all this tragedy, Mia looked at Tyler and told him he looked like a state trooper. He laughed. Said he wasn't sure if that was a compliment. Tiny moment. Almost absurd given everything. But real life does that. Even in the worst moments imaginable, people are still just people. In the interrogation room, Mia confessed. Fully. Without hesitation. She described the shootings in detail. Said she blamed her mother for the surgery cancellation. Said she had warned her family multiple times that her mental state was declining. But then she said something that I haven't been able to shake since I first read this transcript. She said, "I didn't want to become the monster that they made me to be." I really wanted to be good. I really did. That line. Right there. Because here's the part that still bothers me. Joseph Bailey, the father, was reportedly supportive of the surgery. Family members said he had planned to drive Mia to the hospital himself. Stay with her through the whole thing. And earlier that same morning, Mia had bought him a Father's Day gift. Hours later, he was dead. Mia aimed her rage at the person she blamed, and took someone else entirely with her. In November 2025, Mia pleaded guilty and mentally ill to 2 counts of aggravated murder. She was sentenced to 25 years to life twice over, with all sentences running consecutively. No guaranteed surgery. No transfer to a women's prison. None of the things she had asked for. I've covered a lot of cases on this channel, and most of the time there's a villain, a victim, a clear line between the two. This case doesn't give you that. What it gives you instead is a mental health crisis that went unresolved. Prior police calls. A firearm that was taken away and then replaced. A family that was scared and exhausted and running out of options. And one surgery that passed through multiple hands, multiple decisions, and never happened. This didn't start on June 18, 2024. It started years earlier. In small moments. Missed calls. Closed doors. A system that kept releasing someone back into the world without actually fixing anything. 2 innocent people are dead. A family is permanently broken. And Corey Bailey will spend the rest of his life carrying something no person should ever have to carry. None of that is okay. But cases like this one force uncomfortable questions. About mental illness. About how we support people who are struggling. About how many warning signs we walk past before something finally breaks. And that, honestly, should make all of us a little uncomfortable. So I want to hear from you. Where do you think the system failed in this case? Was there one moment, one decision, that could have changed everything? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I read every single one. And if this kind of storytelling is what you come here for, the human side of true crime, not just the facts, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.